Texans season approaching. We've had a lot of people in the locker room. I got to tell you, I think this is the most excited that I've been. The GOAT, Mark Berman, joins the locker room live on YouTube.
Yeah. It's the locker room on YouTube.
All right, we got Mark Berman. I'm not even going to bury the lead. The great the retired Mark Berman joins us. In my opinion, the GOAT of Houston media. I don't say that to McClain. I think McClain's up there. There are two names in the press box. There's Mark Berman, then there's John McClain. I got to say, though, for like the diverse skill set, you see me, I'm in a sport coat. Normally, I'm rocking like a hoodie or something. I think I'm in the presence of greatness, Mark.
Landry, that's a bit over the top, but if you want to say that stuff, all this legend and GOAT stuff, that's kind of ridiculous. But, I'm okay with it if that's what you want to say.
You got to be okay with it. So how is this is the most surprising thing to me. First of all, it kind of sucks that the end of you covering the Texans and you were there from the beginning. All that had to happen for them to be good. We talk about CJ Stroud, D'Amico. Your ass just needed to retire. And then all of a sudden we get out of the football hell and all of a sudden it's football fever back in Houston once Berman leaves.
Well, okay, I'll take credit for that. I mean, I've said this a couple of times. When you look at my resume and things I covered in Houston since 1980 on, the only blip on the radar is I didn't cover a Texas team in the Super Bowl from Houston, I should say. I don't care about Dallas, a Houston team in the Super Bowl. And so they're as close as they've been in a while. They got a shot at some point. I don't know if this year is a year, but at some point.
What was it like covering the squad from the beginning to the end when you were there? Like, what was the Dom Capers experience like? Was it excitement? Was it what was the most difficult and the most fun time covering the squad during your time?
I know it's going to be hard to understand, but my memory is so bad. I can't remember a whole lot about it other than the fact that the access was plenty good. I enjoyed covering them. They lost a lot. Andre Johnson came along, and he was a great story to cover. And then Gary Kubiak came along. He was great to cover. I mean, I like Dom and all, but they just weren't a very good team, right? And they were an expansion team. They had a long way to go. And then, of course, they started winning games with Kubiak and J.J. Watt and Matt Schaub and those guys. And that was enjoyable to cover. But look, when you're covering a team, Landry, the way we covered it at Fox, you're not out there. It's no picnic. You're out there trying to compete. You're trying to win too. It's hard. It's hard covering the NFL. It's not easy. So that's just kind of the way I looked at it. It was not, we were playing for keeps. It was not always fun, if that makes sense.
Did you have fun doing it? Because it's kind of interesting because I watch you now and it does seem like it's like, damn, Mark Berman's a sports fan, like he is a sports fan, but like, I remember the first time I saw you in action, it was like, man, this guy looks pissed off. This guy's intense. I think it was during the Harvey. I think they were practicing in Dallas or something. I was like, man, that's the go. I know who that is right there, and he's intense. But did you enjoy it at all, or was it just work? Because we see how happy you get now when the Astros win and stuff like that. But you never ever like sacrificed your journalistic credibility, like not even a little bit when you were on the scene. Do you feel like you had as much fun as you could have?
No, I didn't do it. I didn't do it the right way. Probably it was a little unhealthy. But look, I had to be impartial on the air. I am a Houston guy. I was born here. I grew up 50 miles from here in Hempstead, Texas. I went to college at U of H. I'm a Houston guy, but I had to be as impartial as I could be. Of course, I wanted them to win. I wanted all the players to do well, the coaches and managers to do well. I mean, I did, but I was trying to stay impartial. But it was not a lot of fun because I say it was fun when I was winning, but you don't win a lot in our business. You lose way more than you win.
You won quite often. You won more than you give yourself credit for.
Trust me, I don't advertise the losses. Look, Landry, here's the deal. I was a nervous wreck 24/7. I was never really off because if the phone rings, you answer it. If somebody texts you, that's important, you respond, because if you don't get back to people, they don't get back to you again. So no, it was a lot of fun when you win. It was not fun when you lose. I enjoyed the job. It was a fun career, but it was very, very, very hard.
What was that like? Because I see how close you are with your grandson and your daughter and stuff. Like, what was that like at home? Because let's be honest, like if there's a Saturday fundraiser and you're going to it and the Texans safety is going to be there, Mark Berman's going to be on the scene. What was that like? And do you almost feel like, I don't want to say making up for time, but do you feel like you're kind of enjoying the presence a little bit and kind of taking a step away from that stressful situation?
Well, I mentioned a second ago about being unhealthy, and you're right. I missed out on a lot because even when I was home, I wasn't home with my daughter who's 42. My son's about to be 26. I have a grandson who's 12, and I enjoy the heck out of them now. My wife put up with so much, and this is a story I tell often about, really describes what my life was like 2.5 years ago or more. Christmas Eve, my daughter and her husband and my grandson were at the other side of the family. I was home with my wife and son having Christmas Eve dinner. My phone was upside down. I turned it over. And about 10 minutes later, Marcus Sasser, the best player on the University of Houston men's basketball team that was ranked, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 in the country, he announced on Christmas Eve he had a broken foot, Landry. So what do you think I had to do? I looked at my wife. She started laughing. If she doesn't laugh, we're probably not married. I got up. I'm in this room. The room I was in this right now is my dining room. I got up, went in the study. I called Marcus. He didn't answer. I started writing for the web, Twitter, for air, because there is nobody else at Fox on the air when I was there, right? And Marcus calls back, thank God. I did the interview with a little scoop in terms of having the quotes. We got it on the air. We got it written all over the place. But guess what? Christmas Eve was ruined.
Yeah.
And never again will a Christmas Eve, a Christmas Day, and New Year's Day, those days aren't going to be ruined anymore, ever. I promise you.
And that's good. You've done a good job retiring, and it's good to see that
I am retired.
Yeah,
I have fun on Twitter.
Yeah,
you do a little bit of freelance work for a couple of companies that has nothing to do with journalism, nothing to do with chasing stories. Make a little extra cash while you're retired because it's not like we're independently wealthy over here, but we're fine. But yes, I am.
You got some land. You got some acreage.
Yes, a little bit.
So I want to talk about Twitter because I think this is interesting because you're not one of those guys that knows much about technology.
That's the truth.
Yeah, it's not really your thing. Hell, I think you carry around like plastic bags with your wires in them, which was always
not anymore. Not really anymore.
Not anymore.
I have one phone. Huh?
But I do feel like even without like being real social media or not social media, I'll put that, but like technology, I do feel like Twitter perhaps kind of elevated the legend, the man, the myth, the legend of Mark Berman. What was that like where you ended up getting a Twitter account and it ended up being kind of one of the go-tos, one of the confirmations of Houston? Were you hesitant to that at first? When did you realize that was a really good resource for you?
I was very, very hesitant. I didn't like the idea of putting everything I know out there right off the bat, because what do you have left for 9 o'clock at 9:45? Everything's going out there. So if you look on my Twitter account, I think it says I started 2009, but that's not true. I started the account. I didn't like it. I didn't do it. And then my daughter finally got me on there in 2011 when I realized that there's no other way. Mm-hmm. But what it did was it changed my life forever because there is no the deadline. There's no deadlines. You get a story, you go. You don't sit on anything. And we can get into some of that if you want to. But I remember getting a text message at about 3 o'clock in the morning about the Astros bringing up a player from minor leagues. My phone rang. My phone alerted me. I got up and I tweeted it 3 o'clock in the morning and went back to sleep. That was my life. That's not anymore, thank goodness. But that was my life. My phone was always on, always. If you called me at 4 a.m., I would answer.
Yeah, that is crazy. I don't think it's uncommon, but I don't know that as many people are as intense as the great Mark Berman, which is why you are where you are. So when it comes to like the Twitter stuff and it comes to like the old, when did you start working in media?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, my first job was I was working in radio while I was going to college in 1977 here in Houston.
So we're going like the perfect, like you're waking up, you're going out to the corner, the newspaper's breaking the story. If you hear it on the radio, then it's going to be word of mouth. How do you feel about I don't know if it's credit or what. It just kind of feels like now, I don't know if it matters less whether you break a story or not, but people just back it. And then it's just like, this person said it, this person said it. And the person who actually broke the story is not getting as much credit. And like you said, you can't hold on to it.
No, I don't care about any of that. I mean, I care about credit attribution. When you're breaking a story, you want credit. You want people to know that you had the story. Yes, there's a lot of thievery going on out there.
Lots.
Especially in this market. We won't call any names, but I mean, there are a lot of people out there where integrity means nothing.
Yeah.
But look, that's Twitter. I mean, 1977, when I first started out, that's not how it worked. But I mean, now you can't sit on anything. There's an old cliche that John McClane taught me: read it, tweet it, or read it. If you don't tweet it, you're going to be reading it somewhere, right? And you can't worry if somebody's stealing the information. The people that matter know who had what, bottom line.
Yeah.
And we know who the thieves are.
So the other thing, and people notice this, and I'm only saying this because you've joked about it a lot. You're a legendary TV guy here, obviously, but in that business, I mean, you look at some of these TV guys, and it's like, man, these guys look like TV guys, like they look like guys that are in front of the camera. Your grind is really what got you on the air. I've heard you say that before. I was actually joking with Will Kunkel the other day, and I was like, yeah, you're just kind of a pretty face. Berman's a different dude. You're a pretty face. You got a way different style.
Well, I mean, my looks weren't going to carry me. We know that. And my wife will tell you that. You know, what got me, I mean, when I got the job at Fox 26 in the spring of 1986, the news director asked me if I could do on TV what I was doing at Kick Radio, which was getting stories. I said, why not? It's just a different medium, same thing. It's not TV, it's not radio, it's TV. So yes, what carried me is journalism. Certainly, you're never going to see me on the front cover of GQ magazine or any magazine for that matter. I mean, I am what I am.
Yeah. Yeah. And so what was your strategy for developing sources and stuff like that? Was it just, I know, like in radio, even when I was a producer, some of the best advice that I got was, hey, whether you know the guy or not, you save every phone number that you get. Like just save it like throughout. Like, and I'm going back to like the 2000s. Like he told me, hey, you save every phone number that you get. That doesn't mean that you harass them, but you save every phone number that you get. It's obviously a lot harder to, start sources. How do you go about doing that? Well, especially before you can't just DM someone.
No, I mean, okay. It starts off by being literally at everything. You talked about charity events, everything, news conferences, workouts, charity events, everything for every sport that you can possibly be at. They see you, they get to know you, it's developing relationships. You develop sources from relationships. It doesn't always work, and yes, you get every possible phone number, email, anything you can get your hands on, Twitter accounts, anything and everything that can help you connect with an athlete, coach, manager, owner, trainer, attorney. I mean, you can't have too much information, but I'll tell you this, like I said earlier, when they call you, you better answer or respond. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, you don't want to drop the ball. Who made it most difficult during your time covering the Texans? What was the most difficult era?
I mean, I'm not going to name any names. I'm not going to do that, but I would say the last few years with the Texans, the access was limited, right?
Yeah.
They have their own set of rules there that were tough to work with sometimes, where they don't want you calling players without permission. That's tough. That's kind of a college rule they incorporated at the NFL level, which was really strange to me and very difficult. But you know what? You got to roll with the punches. You got to play ball with the people you're working with. Relationships are everything. I never wanted to go against anybody if I could help it. And I'll tell you this, whatever they're doing at the Texans looks to me like it's working.
Yeah, it does. They're shifting kind of digital too. There's a lot of digital stuff going on with them. I kind of feel like they're kind of, getting them out there as much as possible. Who was your favorite player to cover? I remember the video. We saw JJ, we saw Kareem Jackson, we saw Jonathan Joseph. Who you can say players? Who were your favorite players to cover?
I mean, there were so many. You named off some of them. Kareem, Jonathan Joseph, JJ Watt. I have such a terrible memory. It's hard for me to remember all the names of the different people I liked. I'm thinking of a guy right now, but I just can't see his face, but I can't remember his name because I'm bad about that. There were a lot of guys in that locker room that I enjoyed being around. Jadeveon Clowney. I really liked working with Jadeveon Clowney. Okay,
yeah, funny guy.
He was hilarious, and he did a lot. He gave me I liked working with Mario Williams some. You know, if I sit here and think about all the guys I liked working with, it'd take a while. Yeah. But
we got time.
Those are some of the names.
So did you do you go to some Astros games? Does your grandson, he seems like he's more of he likes Astros Rockets. Is he into the Texans too? You think you're going to go to a game as a fan?
Since I retired in June of not this past 13 months ago, I've only been to 5 games. I went to 3 Astros playoff games because my daughter and grandson are huge Astros fans. So I went because they wanted to go. I enjoy going, but I really don't want to be at games. I did it for 50 years.
Yeah.
I went to 1 Rockets game, had great seats. It was great being there. I went to one Astros game when they honored me and they put us up. They gave us some great seats that I'd never been in before. They were unbelievable.
They needed to make you throw a pitch, man.
No.
They needed to make you throw a pitch. They made McClain. They needed to make you.
They asked me to do it, and I declined. Okay, because I got arthritis in my shoulders. I couldn't get the ball 10 feet. And plus, I'm not. If you want to hear my athletic resume, I'll tell you, I'm a non-athlete. Okay. Yeah. If you want to hear it, I will tell you. If you want to spend 30 seconds, I'll tell you.
Let's hear it.
Okay. I grew up in Hempstead, Texas. I'm the only guy in the history of the planet who was cut off his high school basketball team 4 consecutive years. Nobody gets cut 4 consecutive years.
Because a lot of people quit after 1. See, that's why you're you. That's why you can overcome so much.
I was the manager. I had a letter jacket that had a big H on it that said MGR. I wanted a sport on my jacket. So I went out for the tennis team with my best friend. We're still close today. He will tell you the story. We're on the tennis team at Hempstead. You got a letter, a little racket, if you made it to the finals at district. We were in the semis. We won the first set. We were up 5-love in the second set. Lost every game after that, no letter. So I went out for the golf team. You got a letter if you made the golf team. Don't ask me why. 4 of us tried out. Three made it. I finished 4th. No letter. So I never had a letter. So 50 years later, I retire. They bring me back home. They're very kind. Gave me a proclamation, key to the city. So I got up there and made a fool out of myself. And of course, all the people that are there were not there when I was there. There were some adults there who I grew up with at this little ceremony. I said, look, I shamed myself. I said, I want an honorary Hempstead High School letter jacket. And I told my story. They said, Mark, we got you. We're going to get you an honorary letter jacket. Well, here we are. 13 months later, they forgot. No letter jacket. You can't make that up in Hollywood.
Come on, man. You thought you finally had it and you didn't get it? What are they thinking?
But I shamed myself I was begging for it.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the end of my integrity. You got to at least get the payoff for that. That's
the end of my athletic resume right there.
But you picked up pretty nicely. I will say. So you obviously, when you're at a game, is it weird? Like, do you find yourself being able to sit back and enjoy? Because you said you seem like you're enjoying the life. Like when you step in the juice box, which is probably the most intense you get for a long period of time, do you find yourself kind of like, what do I got to do here? Is someone getting hurt? Can you watch a game?
Absolutely. You got to understand, Landry. 2 days after I retired, I realized, my goodness, I'm good. Okay. I was a little worried.
I was worried for you. We were very worried for you because I was like, I don't know if Berman, like McClain can't retire, and he never retired. Like we know that.
He didn't retire. He just left the Chronicle.
Right.
He does other stuff. Look, no, I'm not worried about news at all. I'm interested, and I'm a fan. And you got to understand, Landry, I grew up an Astros fan long before the Texans were here, long before the Rockets even got there. I was an Astros fan. Okay, I lived and died with them in the 60s and the 70s, mostly died. So now I've come full circle. Now I'm an Astros fan again, and I love being snarky on Twitter.
Yeah.
I love taking shots at the Rangers and the Mariners because I don't like them, and it's my Twitter account, and I can do what I want.
You can.
People tell me I'm petty. Too bad. I can be petty all day long. I wasn't that way when I was working, but I don't work anymore.
You were not, and that's what's fun to watch about it. Now, I will say this: you talk about health, you talk about all that. There was one time where I was very concerned about your health, like very, 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 very concerned about your health. That was when your Twitter account got hacked. I felt like we were going to lose Mark Berman to a heart attack once the Twitter account got hacked.
That was an awful time. The guy was selling fake video games or something, and he actually made money on my account. We had a lady at our office who worked diligently. Remember, this is a Fox account.
Yes.
So the big Fox got involved. The Fox phone. It's not just my phone. That was a Fox phone. So they got in cahoots with Big Fox out of New York or wherever, and they got me unhacked in about 18 hours, which is like a world record.
Yeah.
But I will grant you, I was pretty miserable.
Dude, I was worried for you. I was very worried.
You know what I was doing? If anything broke during that 18 hours, which it didn't, I was just going to put it on the Fox account.
Yeah.
But Fox 26 Twitter account.
Yeah, but that would be weird. That was tough. You had to do the I think I tried to tell you, hey, you got to do this confirmation type of thing, because I saw a couple of people do it, and you had to do like some sort of setup type of thing. But I was like, man, he is losing his bleep.
I was.
What do you miss about it the most? What is there anything that you do miss? Because obviously it was work for you, it was intense. Is there anything that you do miss about it?
Well, I mean, you miss the winning and the euphoria that goes with it. And when you have a great story that forces everybody to follow you, that's fantastic. But let me tell you something. Like I said, you lose way more than you win. The losing is pure misery. The wins come and go. The losing stays with you. So I don't miss the losing. I miss the winning. I miss the camaraderie. I miss the fun I had with some of the guys like yourself. Okay. But truthfully, I'm happy right where I'm at home. When you and I get done here, I'm going to walk out in the yard, go find my wife, see what she wants me to do. I think we're going to go do some shopping, you know? No, I'm good. I promise you. I'm very good.
No, we can tell. So what time do you wake up? What time is Mark Berman rising?
Well, it's interesting that you would say that. I was never an early morning guy when I was working, but I wake up a lot in the mornings, and I'm on a losing weight binge.
Okay.
I'm down 31 pounds.
Look at you.
I'd like to lose about 10 more, maybe.
Okay.
Walk 4 miles, usually in the morning. Try to walk 4 miles with my husky in the mornings, and then I do errands. Maybe I go back to sleep. I don't have any set pattern. I just do whatever you do around the house.
Just whenever. I got bit by a husky one time on my hand right here. So
is that right?
They don't scare me. Well, it was my stepdad's fault. Rest in peace. He kept the husky around way too long. I mean, the dog, they tried to shave it. It was blind, first of all. They tried to shave it, and it only grew back in certain spots. It would walk and just crap. And then I just tried to help it up. It just bit me. Rest in peace.
You can do me a favor. This thing you've got here says the great Mark Berman. You can lose the great.
Nah, we know.
Mark Berman. Just say Mark Berman.
We know better than that.
Okay.
We know much better than that. So the grandson, what grade is the grandson in?
I believe he's 12, so I believe he's going in the 6th grade. I think that's right. I lose track.
Does he want to do what? Does he want to be like? Does he want to be like you? Does he want to get into media?
I don't think so. I don't know where he's headed. I will say this, and most grandfathers say this. Jackson is incredibly smart, and I'll give you an example. If you put a flag up in front of him from anywhere in the world, he will tell you what country it is. And I have tried to stoop him and or stump him. I have probably gotten him once out of 1,000. I mean, think about this. If you put a flag up there for the most nondescript country in the world, he's going to know what it is. Okay.
That's good.
And I mean, he's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant, and a great looking kid that he did not get from his grandfather.
Well, I mean, I think y'all have some similarities. I think when I see y'all side by side, I think there's a little bit.
Not really.
Yeah, I mean, they're like same skin tone, maybe.
Maybe
there. Mark, I appreciate you, man. It really has been fun. It was fun watching you work, quite frankly, and it's been really fun watching you kind of thrive and enjoy post-retirement. I know it's not easy, but it seems like it's about as easy as it possibly could be for you. And it's really good to hear your voice. It's really good to see that you're having a good time, and you did it for the betterment of the Texans. That's what I'm going to say. I don't know that you really needed I just think you did it so that the Texans could be good.
Oh, for me that's why I retired?
Yeah,
well,
that was the reason. You sacrificed yourself for the Texans.
Listen, that franchise, it's time for the McNair family to do some celebrating. And I think some celebrating is just around the corner.
Yeah. Okay. So you're calling Super Bowl this year? Is that what we're doing?
I didn't say that, but I will tell you this. I was with D'Amico from the start. I would love to see their head coach have a great career there as their head coach. I would like their PR staff to have a blast. And I'd like ownership and general manager Nick and all those guys to be incredibly successful. How about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's easy. They deserve it. They've been through hell. That's for sure. They have definitely been through hell the last couple of years. Mark, much appreciation. Very much appreciate you for coming through. Enjoy shopping and doing your thing, and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
There you go. It's the great Mark Berman here in the locker room. Be sure to subscribe, right along for the best Texans coverage in the country. We got a game tomorrow. We got a post-game show. We'll talk to John McClain soon, and then we'll also have the post-game stream going. Always remember, when it comes to this Texan stuff, we're all in it together. Thanks to the GOAT, Mark Berman.
You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey, locker room.